It's spooky season, and spooky season in the elementary music room means that it is time for In the Hall of the Mountain King. It's like October is In the Hall of the Mountain King season. November really ought to be sleigh ride season because sleigh ride's actually more of a Thanksgiving song than a Christmas song, but you know, here we are. And then Christmas is just straight up like sleigh ride, nutcracker, bananas bonkers. Okay, that's the music teacher situation. Let's talk about how to use In the Hall of the Mountain King in your elementary music classroom. This is a classic spooky season song, and even if you're not wanting to do like Halloween, it's just a fun one to incorporate in October. It has a really nice slow Accelerando, which is a really fun way to teach that to the kiddos, and it just has so many great aspects. I love this song so much. I actually do it with pretty much every grade level, so we're going to talk through some of my favorite ways to do this song with all the different grade levels. So for each activity, I'll let you know kind of like who I use that one with. And yeah, it's great. Your kids are gonna love it. A little bit of housekeeping. Up on the screen, I will pop a few like graphics up because I actually have a bunch of these in my In the Hall of the Mountain King lesson pack on TPT. There's a whole like Google Slides with included recorded songs, which yes, I own the rights to, and like a rhythm play along and like the whole 9 yards. So make sure that if you're interested in more resources to help you teach this, that you check that out with the link down below. Number 1 is Walking the Beat. This is actually how I like to introduce the song to everybody. So I've done this with kindergarten, I've done this with 5th graders. It's great for everyone. And basically we're just walking to the steady beat. I usually set it up as, hey, we're gonna listen to a song. This song is going to start one way and end a different way. It's a little bit sneaky, so kind of think like being quiet and sneaky as we go through. We're gonna start with tiptoeing so we can match the song, and as we go, it gets further and further. Now with the younger kids, I actually like to tell them an abbreviated version of the story. So we start by tiptoeing, and usually I say, you know, there might be someone who appears behind us, so make sure you watch your back. And so after like a few minutes, I'll be like, all right, look over your shoulder. No one's there. Look over your other shoulder. Oh good, no one's there. And then we keep going, and then once it starts to get faster, I'll be like, all right, look around the corner. I think I see somebody, and we start getting faster. I'm like, all right, they definitely saw us, like get ready, we gotta get faster. And the kids just eat it up. At the end, there's 2, I like to call them earthquakes. There's just like really bad, loud bangs. And so for that part, we have the kids jump, and at the very end, we crouch down and jump up for the end. It's hilarious, and it's also really exhausting. So if you're looking for something to help like get that Halloween candy out of their system, it's a great one because they will like collapse into a heap of breathing really deeply afterwards. So that's really great. After that, I like to talk about what it sounds like, and so I'll just ask them like, what do you think it sounded like? And so some of them will tell me stories of like, oh, it sounded like a horror movie, or oh, it sounded like someone's chasing you. And then others will just, you know, tell me like instruments and different things like that. You can take it a lot of different ways, but it's a good one to start thinking about like what songs sound like. I always try to get the kids to think about what the song sounds like, because it's not just, you know, music for music's sake. It's music coming from somewhere, and we really want to get that figured out. So that's kind of like how I introduce it, is pretty much like that with pretty much every grade. Now let's talk about a couple of things I do with the younger kiddos. So first of all, you can read a book. There's a couple different books that go with it, but this is the one that I use and like. It's called In the Hall of the Mountain King. Oh, look at that. And it's supposed to go with the song. So this is the story of Peer Gynt, who goes into the Mountain King's palace, and then the Mountain King finds him, and he has to like run out of the palace and all of that kind of stuff. There's also some musical downloads as well, which means that you can download music to go along with it. I've used it with kids up to 2nd grade, and I basically start with the movement. What do you think it sounds like? Oh, this tells a story. Read the story. And then after that, I typically like to keep the beat. So you can do that with just body percussion, but I like to add instruments to this one. Egg shakers are a great one because they're not super duper loud at the end when it gets really crazy. And I have had them, you know, occasionally like fly across the room, and they're usually gonna last through that. So we've got that going for us too. I'll usually change it up. So we'll start with just like shaking in the air, and we'll shake it on our head and shake it on our shoulders, and just move it all around to keep them interested as it goes through the whole song. You can also use this to talk about tempo with the younger kids if you're talking about fast and slow with the littles, or if you're talking about, you know, allegro and adagio with the you know, like more 1st and 2nd graders. And you can use those music terms as like what's the beginning, what's the end, and kind of talk about that through there. If you want some help with keeping the beat, I actually have a beat play along that is in the lesson pack of In the Hall of the Mountain King, so you can just like throw it up on the screen and the kids can watch and they can move along with it. So that is a really easy way to keep the beat with the little kids, or as a warm-up for the older kids, that's fine too. With the older kids, I like to practice the rhythm. This has a half note in it, so it is perfect for like 3rd grade. Sometimes I use it with older kids, but 3rd grade is kind of like my magic where I like to do it. And the rhythm is T T T T T T ta T T ta T T ta T T T T T T T T T T T ta, with that half note. So I like to use this with my 3rd graders to practice or present half note. In the lesson pack, there is a version that has a bat as a half note. So if you're prepping half note, you can use that. And then there's another one that has the actual, you know, rhythms on it. And so you can use either one, whichever one works out better for you. But super, super fun to do with your older kids. I like to start, first we'll just do it with the TTs on our legs, taws together, and then taws, like, and then we transfer that onto the rhythm sticks, and I'll have them do it with the rhythm sticks, and then we'll play along with the song. And it's so much fun at the end when they're just like trying to keep up. It's hilarious, and so they will absolutely love it. With the older kids, you can also talk about Accelerandos, and one fun thing to do is once you have learned the rhythm of the melody, that like main, you know, part, then you can have the kids conduct each other playing that melody. And so you can have someone do an actual baton and conduct, or you can just have them like keep a beat, or they can walk to the beat and then get faster, they can get slower, and the students can play the rhythm faster and then play it slower and kind of try to keep up with the conductor up at the front. And that's a really fun way to practice Accelerando and Decelerando, and just, you know, keep it really interesting. And then there's also a Boomwhacker play along. This one does not belong to me, but it is really great if you're looking for a fun thing to do with your older kids. This is especially great if you maybe don't want to work on reading music that week, or if you are like, I just need something for just one day, like we're not talking about it for a long time, I just need something like quick to incorporate into my classroom. Highly, highly, highly recommend the Boomwhacker play along. I will leave a link to it down below. It's really fun. The kids will love it. I'll put the video and I'll have the kids match the beat first so they can kind of see like what the video looks like. Then they'll get a Boomwhacker and they play along with it. We'll do that once, maybe twice, and then they switch with someone else. I've also done like groups, so they switch through the groups. I've had them just switch with someone near them. Either way works fine. And then they play with their new Boomwhacker, and they can keep switching as many times as you need for them to, you know, keep entertained. And they will be entertained for a very long time with that. Just FYI, like you can do it 3, 4, maybe 5 times. And they'll be fine. So highly recommend Boomwhacker play along, especially if you're looking for just something easy and quick that they can do like on one day. That's the one that you want to go with. All right, so that's a couple of ways that I use In the Hall of the Mountain King with my kiddos. I know other people do other things as well, but you know, here's just a couple. I will link down below my In the Hall of the Mountain King lesson pack so that you can grab that. Use it to work on beat, use it to work on Accelerando and Decelerando, or use it to work on half notes. All of that stuff is in there with play along videos to make your life just super easy, because nobody needs extra stress during Halloween as a teacher, right? We need less stress. So go enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.